In this easy Procreate tutorial, I'm gonna show you how to draw the city skyline step by step. Before we start, you can get the tutorial files via the free download link in the description below. Now let's grab our pencils and get started. Let's go ahead and create a new canvas. For that I will click on this plus button here, then again, and enter the dimensions. 2000 by 2500 pixels, 300 dpi. To make this tutorial easy and enjoyable, I've created these custom brushes with buildings and city lights. You can get them free of charge along with a color palette in the video description. If you like my YouTube tutorials and free brushes, you may also want to check out my Patreon page, where I share in-depth tutorials and exclusive brush sets. The link to my Patreon is also below the video. With that being said, let's start drawing. In the beginning, I'll go ahead and change the background color. So let's tap here and select color number 1 from the palette. After that, I want to add a gradient, and we can do it easily by using selection. I will switch to rectangle and enable color fill. Also select color number 2 and outline a rectangle somewhere here in the center. Now we can deselect it, switch to the next color, number 3, and just drag it in this area at the bottom. Now to create a gradient, let's go to Adjustments and select Gaussian Blur. We need to slide to the right to achieve the gradient look. I will set the amount of Gaussian Blur to 44%. It worked just fine. Now that the background is ready, we can start adding the buildings. And we need to create a new layer for that. Now let's open the brush set, and I will select this brush with buildings, number 3. All these brushes can be used both as dynamic brushes and as stamps, and they have a secondary color, so we need to select 2 colors. As the first color for this brush, I will pick color number 4. Now we need to go to the color disk and tap on the second color to select it. It will be number 5. I'll set the size to 54%. If you like, you can make a stroke like this, or just tap a few times. I think I will enable magnetics and drag it a little bit down, or maybe scale it, because these buildings are on the foreground, so they need to look bigger, like this. And we will need more space for more rows of buildings behind. Okay, I think this is fine. Let me now create one more layer below this one and select 2 more colors. First color will be number 6. And for the secondary color, I will pick number 7. Also go to change the brush. Let's try this one, number 5. I'll set the size to around 60% and also tap, like this. I'll move it a little bit, then pick another brush, for example number 2, and tap again. Okay, I think this is fine. I'll just create one more layer and select 2 more colors. This will be number 8 and 9. Let's try some other brushes. For example, number 1. I'll tap here. Maybe switch to number 4. And tap again. Just increase the size a little bit. Let me move this one a bit down, so we will have some space to draw the sun. Alright. Before adding more elements on the background, let's add lights. So I will go to this layer on top, create another one above it, and then clip. Let's select color number 10 and pick this brush with lights. The size can be set to around 50%. And I will make strokes on the frontal parts of the buildings, like this. on this one, then also here, and it will be enough. Let's also add some lines on the second row, so we can totally merge these layers, and go to the layer number 3. I will also add another layer above it with a clipping mask. This time I will select color number 3. Make the size a bit smaller, like 45%, and also make some strokes on the frontal parts. Maybe also here, then on this one, and like this. Now the buildings are absolutely ready. Let's draw the sun. I will merge these two layers and create a layer above the background. Let's draw a circle for the sun, and to do that, I'm gonna use medium hard airbrush from airbrushing section. Set the size to 70% and start drawing a circle like this. If you wait a second, we can make Quick Shape tool work. And to make the circle perfect, I will tap on the canvas. Now we can also scale it. After that, I will just paint the area inside. This way we will get soft edge like this. We can now move it and put it somewhere here, between the buildings. Also scale it if needed. After that, I will duplicate this layer 3 times. Let's keep the first one as it is and go to the second one. I will apply Gaussian blur to it. So let's select it and slide to the right to around 15% to add some shine. Also, I will change this layers mode to add. It'll look like this for now. And we can switch to the next layer. So let's go here and first recolor it. I will just grab color number 11 and drop it inside the shape. It looks like this. Now I will smudge this layer. So let's click on this finger and pick a brush. It will be dry brush from painting set. I'll set the size to around 31% and start making strokes around the shape to smudge the edges. We can now scale it uniformly to make it barely visible, like this. Now let's go to the next layer and also smudge it using the same brush. I will work on the edge like this. We can now try to scale it in uniform mode and also reduce the opacity. I'll set it to 73%, but you may change yours according to the result. Now the sun looks like this, and we can continue adding more elements on the sky. So I will go to the layer number 4 and duplicate it. Then switch to this one that is underneath. Go to Adjustments and apply Motion Blur. I will move my pencil vertically and set the amount of motion blur to 100%. Now let's go back to Adjustments and select Glitch. I will also slide to the right to maximum. It'll look like this. I just want to recolor it. So let's alpha lock the layer. Select color number 10 from the palette. Go back to the layer, tap on it, and from the menu select Fill Layer. Now we can try to move it, or stretch in freeform to add the subtle effect. Like this. I think we can just drag it down in the layers and place it under the sun. In the end, I will draw a simple airplane. So let's create a new layer. Let's place it above all layers. And I will select color number 13. Let's go to Ink Inset and select Ink Bleed brush. With the size set to 12%, I will draw a tiny line that goes almost horizontally, somewhere here. And then another one. So it'll look like a cross with perspective. Very simple plane shape. Like this. Now let's draw the trace. So I'll create a new layer, can be located above this one. And I will select color number 15. Let's increase the brush size a little bit. I think we can set it to around 20%. And draw two lines, starting from the tail of the plane and going to the side like this. Then another one. After that, I will alpha lock the layer. Select color number 16 from the palette. And also soft brush from airbrushing. I will set the size to 16%. And add a gradient. I will just paint this half. Let's now create a layer under the plane. And select color number 14. I will just go back to Ink Bleed and draw a line like this. Okay. Now the plane is ready. I will select all layers for it and maybe move it a little. In the end, I will draw a simple sky. To do that, I will create a layer under the sun. Go to the color disk and double tap here to select white color. Let's now go to Selection and pick Freehand mode. I will start drawing triangles. Some of them can be wider and some of them can be very narrow. Let me draw another one here. It can be very thin. And then I will draw another one on the right. Make it wider. Let's add a few more on the opposite side. Then again. And another one here. Maybe just a couple of more. And I think it will be enough. Let's deselect it now and set the layers mode to overlay. After that, I will click on the arrow and first set it to distort. I will stretch it to the sides like this. And after that, select Warp. Drag it down. So they will look like arcs. Now let's go to the layer and reduce its opacity to 40%. Then alpha lock the layer, grab black color, pick soft brush and paint on some areas. Apply low pressure. Like this. The last step is optional. I just want to apply a paper texture. So let's create a layer above all layers and grab white color. I included this craft paper brush in the set, so let me select it and apply it on the canvas like this. I will reduce the opacity and set it to 58%. At this point, the drawing is complete. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. For more tutorials and brush sets, please check out my Patreon page. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.